Hey guys, this is Chugg, and I'm here to show you some slash movement tricks and tips and all that good stuff. Before that, I'm going to show you my settings. So this sensitivity is at 1600 dpi. These are my movement keys, default. My crouch is on left alt, jump is on space, and my ability is left control, left shift. I know this is bad, don't worry about it. I'll fix it eventually. What I really want to highlight is that my ability usage and my movement keys are independent. So I think the default was G. In order to actually press that, you'd have to take your finger physically off of D to use your ability. So you can't be moving, so then you're limited. You can't move right and use your ability. And that's just clunky. You want to have all the options available to you, and you don't want your binds to get in the way of what you want to do. So further to that, with my crouch on left alt here, my thumb is responsible for jumping and crouching, and I'm never going to be doing both of those things at the same time, so my thumb can handle the job. And what this adds, and what this gives me, especially above other slashes, is that I can use my ability, I can slide, I can strafe, all independently. Now I'm sure there are many slashers who can do this as well, but the default bindings do not allow you to do this. So I recommend that you revise what you think will work for you. You can copy mine and just stick with it until it works, or you can revise it and incorporate the principles into your own binds, but yeah, you want to be able to activate your ability at any time, like while sliding, while in the air, while strafing, while fighting. You want to be uninhibited. You want to be activate your ability whenever you need it. Okay, well, onto the actual movement mechanics. I encourage you to learn how to do corners. So this was the first thing I actually practiced myself because I realized how important it was. So let's say I'm being chased by someone up here, and okay, I'm burning, a second, and I really want to get through this doorway as efficiently as I can. I don't want them to see me. Well, I don't want to be exposed. I want to minimize my time exposed, yeah. So if I do this, that looked alright, you may think. But if you notice, I cut the corner here. And by cut, I mean this corner. I'm very wide. There's more time that I'm out in the open and actually safe. So ideally what you want to do is cut this corner as close as you can. So learning how to do that is all about memorizing where to jump. If you can do that, then you'll be able to hit this almost every time. So find out how long your jump is. You can actually do it backwards. You can do this and be like, okay, well I have to be here when I jump. So you go here, and then you're in. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry, I'm sick. And yeah, so just memorize how far away you have to be. Ideally, so here's the doorway, you want to land actually here, because it still takes time for you to fully turn the corner. You have to actually not even be at the corner when you actually land, in order to do it properly. It's just a small little refinement, but when it comes to slash, you want to be efficient with your movement and your time, so that you can actually maximize getting to the pickups, getting the guns, and being where the enemy is not expecting you to be just because you're so fast, you know. Okay, next thing I'd like to talk about is her ability. I didn't mention this at all in the previous video, but yeah, there's 4 main cases that I imagine, or that I can think of, that I actually be using her ability. The first is trap. So things like jump pads and teleporters are your friend. Any other hero can go through the teleporter, and someone else that's chasing will still chase them. But slash can activate her ability, go through, and now anyone will be deterred from entering, and if they do, they're dead. You just get all this free damage on them, and it deters them from actually following you. This works for jump pads as well. You could use it here, so that they don't even try to come up the lift, or you can use it at the apex, up here, so that when they do follow you, and your trail starts up here, they're forced to be, unless they're anarchy, of course, but they're forced to be up here, so you can activate it and get the free damage off on them. So this is well, I should also mention, if they see you go through the teleporter and the trail's there, they decide, okay, I don't want to do that, they go away. You've escaped anyway, so that's a good use of your ability. You can then go and find pickups and have your ability back in no time. Okay, second case is when you are fighting. So let's say you're down, let's get some open area here. Let's say there's a guy here, and you've come in, you start shooting him. Let's say you miss a bit and he misses a bit. You guys aren't very good. You can activate your ability and strafe around. This isn't a great example, but you can cover up. You can, well, firstly, it gives you more mobility. You're faster. You're a harder target to hit. You can dodge his crosshair. Secondly, you trap the area. So if you come in and have your ability and you have sort of a snake coming here, you're restricting where he can actually move. If you come in and slide up here, he has to move backwards, so he can't strafe over here to actually shoot you because he walks into the trail. It's very often that people actually do that. They will walk into the trail and you can pop it for free damage. It's quite funny how often it actually happens. But yeah, so fight mobility and trapping an area to restrict their mobility. Next, we'll talk about map movement. This is the case I use it for mostly. So let's say this is, let's say we're on Blood Covenant, this is the medium armor, and this is the shotgun. Let's say no one's around you, you have your ability, and you just want to get back into the fight because you just picked up Mega and you're ready to fight, but you don't want to waste time. So you can just come over here and get to LG and start fighting people, but it's very often that I will just use my ability because I have a feeling that I should. And maybe it's bad, but I get to fight quicker, and more importantly to note, anyone that's at rail that drops down for the armor will drop into a trap. Anyone who was chasing you will see the trail and they can't chase. So it functions as area denial as well as just sheer map mobility. But yeah, I value just getting around the map and out of dangerous positions, even when there are no opponents around. And that could be a bad habit, but I personally like it because I don't feel like I'm punished too heavily because the cooldown is fairly short, especially if you're getting the hourglass pickups. So next, I'm just going to talk about some of the more advanced sliding mechanics, and it's not really that advanced. You can change direction as soon as you land. You don't actually have to keep going in a straight line. This is useful when fighting a Nyx. So if she's on stealth and you're running forwards, you can, just as she comes out, you can do this, fling yourself to the side, you probably dodge a rocket if she'd planned to hit you, and you nullify a big advantage of her ability. It's often the case that, if I was, say here, I could then hop out through the teleporter, and they're not expecting me because they're watching where you're facing, and if you travel in a direction that's different to that, you can trip them up and make them waste their opportunities. You can also practice just turning around. I mean, these are, I say they're advanced, they're not really that advanced, but I encourage you to play with it because it is useful in certain cases. Like Nyx and Viz is especially good. Okay, next I want to talk about an issue that I brought up in my first video that I didn't really have a solid way of addressing, and that's the stairs. Going up the stairs is easy, going down the stairs is annoying. This is because you can't sustain a slide. But the key thing that I do now is that I sort of spam the crouch button. Ideally, you want to time it specifically. You want to know the particular step length, so that you can get the timing properly, so that you can actually know the timing of when to hit the crouch button. But you can. I'm not good. I haven't practiced on these stairs before. Okay, that was it. So you can sort of spam the crouch button to maintain your speed, and then when you get to the end, you just make sure you do it again at the very base, and you can actually turn it into a slide without even having to jump. So of course you could just jump over the stairs, but one thing about jumping is I really don't like being in the air, because your movement is 100% predictable. Anyone who's good will be able to hit you, and it's just free damage to them. So if you can minimize the time that you're actually jumping, you can have a really big advantage. So here, except for that little ledge there, I jumped initially, but then I just carried my momentum and just let the slide continue without jumping another time. And this is how you should take stairs. You should slide into slide. You should not jump. Because this minimizes the time you're in the air. You're on the ground more often. On the ground, you have the ability to change direction. You have more control, and you're harder to hit because of those things. So when it comes to stairs, before I would like look at them and think, oh no, this is really bad. But all you have to do is preferably slide off them and just keep it going. Oh, that stopped my momentum. One key thing for this map, there's this spawn. If you get this spawn on slash, what I do almost every time is I slide, jump, and I'm a rocket. Most of the time, your opponent will spawn here, and he'll rush the pickup. He could then turn around, go the lift, and then go for the rocket. This forsakes the lightning gun, which is an interesting strategy, but they recognize that, hey, I can only use rockets because I'm bad, so I'm going to go get rockets first as a priority. And if he decides to do that, you will beat him there. Most of the good players that I play against just tend to come through here, go for the LG, and then I've got rocket, and then I just come over here and get some armor, go off elsewhere. I won't even prioritize the rocket launcher that heavily. But yeah. I also use the slide here. That wasn't clean, but here you don't have to jump. So you can slide down here to another slide. And then when you jump through the telly, you can then be on the slide. You can slide off the back of this gargoyle type dude. This step is really, I really don't like this step. The only thing I don't have consistent is this this slide transition, because I feel like it should be longer and I can actually get around here. I can get to this point so that I can slide jump into rockets, and that would make it really clean, but it's not consistent. And sometimes you get more height than you want to, and that's just, you know, I need to practice this more if I wanted to use it in a real game. And if you've made it this far, I'd like to share with you something that I think is really good. I told one of the Australian Quake players that are going to QuakeCon, and he was like, yeah, I know about that. Yeah. But he doesn't use it. He's just like, Slash has to be moving, like that's her advantage. She's got speed. But I would disagree. And it's this. Wait for it. Oh, it didn't even work. Oh, that's embarrassing. There it is. So if you've got no lateral movement and you perform a slide jump, you actually store your slide. It's right now I'm sliding, but it's paused. See? So as a an esteemed Quake colleague, I guess, pointed out, you're not moving. You're like, what is the point? Well, if you're waiting for a pickup and you're listening and you're looking around, oh, I didn't do it quite well, but you can have this mobility, sudden mobility and control stored up to react as soon as you get information that enables you to react. Otherwise, you might need to jump first, and then you can go on sliding around the place, but that, again, it's jumping. I don't like jumping. If I'm jumping, predictable, I'm slower, I have less control. I much prefer to be sliding. So waiting for pickups, that's one thing. Another thing is listening. It's a similar story of like you're waiting to acquire the information. Oh, I hear the pickups a being taken like that, I can go up the lift and actually use that information. Another case is if, say I had rail and I was watching an angle, some angle, I don't even know the angles on this map, because I'm not a good Quake player, but let's say I knew he was going to come through here. I could have my slide primed, hit it, and then off and away, you know? So I think this slide storage has a lot of potential like that. Rubber banding. So another point to that, there's a more advanced version, which is you can actually store a slide from up here, and it's the long slide. Because you drop from a height, it's a longer slide than normal. This is actually really inconsistent. I can't do it consistently, and every height difference means different inputs. Because when you walk off the ledge, you have forward momentum, and you have to press back to compensate so that you have no momentum when you land. You don't have to have zero momentum, but it has to stabilize very, very quickly, or else the slide will just keep going. So let's see how far this goes. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, to say that that's not useful, I think is probably, like, there's some certain circumstances where that will be useful. A lot of cases it's probably just as efficient to jump away, but I think it's a tool that you should get used to in order to be a better player with the capability to do anything that you want to do. Okay, so that concludes it for now. This is longer than I expected, but I hope you gained some good insight. I may do another of these. There is some things I didn't cover, but not very many, and they're not as valuable. But yeah, good luck playing Slash, and see you around.